Okay, what's your full name?
Well, I'm Roger Lee Eggen.
Mom?
Mary Ellen, Eggen, Creviston.
And then, did either of you have nicknames growing up?
Raji.
Really? Tootsie.
Tootsie, yeah,
Okay.
you were a Tootsie.
And when and where were you born?
Well, as I recall, it was at Mercy Hospital in Valley City, North Dakota, March 22nd during a big snowstorm.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Mom, when, where were you born?
I was born at Mercy Hospital, also in Valley City, September 1738. And I was a pound and a half, they say, in a shoebox with a light bulb. And I have the t-shirt the nuns made for me.
Oh, interesting story. And how are you both related to Karen and Marta?
Great grandmother.
Okay. And can you shortly just give the little history of like how she's your great grandma?
Well, she was married to Anders, and that family had one of the three girls. That girl was Ellen. Ellen became Ellen Haugen, a wife of John Haugen. They had a family of 9, and amongst the 9 was our mother, Frances Eggen.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So, how did your family come to live in the Litchville area? Because it was the Litchville area, correct?
Yes, we have to realize that there were 2 categories of families. One was rural farmers, and the other was city slickers. So the Eggen family kind of raised the bar a little bit because we were city slickers.
Awesome.
Our dad's family was always in Litchville. Well, not always. It started out in Catherine, North Dakota, and then moved to Litchville, all because of jobs.
Do you know how Grandma Frances and Grandpa Clarence met?
High school, as I recall.
Correct. Yeah.
And they were a couple of years apart, but as usual, Grandpa was older than Mother, and it's a natural way that they get together.
Okay.
Also in that class were other classmates, and because they needed transportation, Grandpa had access to a car. So people like Palmer Roxfold tell a story about double dating Palmer and his wife Myrna with Grandpa and Grandma, Clarence and Frances, before they were married.
Because Grandpa had the car.
Grandpa had access to the car. He actually had a truck. He hauled
Right.
grain during those years to make a little money, but that's hard for 4 people to go spooning in a
Right.
truck.
Oh, that's cute. So, were there any other family members then in the area, like from Grandma Frances's side at the time, evidently?
Well, I wanted to add
Oh, okay.
that also Frances then later on did go to Concordia College. She got kind of a scholarship, if there was such a thing those days.
Yeah, she was, I believe, valedictorian of her class
Oh, wow.
in Litchville, for which Concordia had scholarship money. I got the same scholarship when I graduated from Grafton High School. But Grandma went for a year. She had to work at the same time that she was at the college because the scholarship was just for basically tuition.
Okay.
And she worked in a small grocery store that was really at the footsteps of Moorhead State College. And so in the spring, after that first year, the Haugens had to come and pick up Grandma. And Grandpa Haugen, John Haugen, had to tell Grandma, our mother, that there was no crop this year. It didn't germinate. There was not enough moisture. It was during the dry years, and there was no money to send her back to Concordia.
So she was done.
Yeah. Well, I suppose there was hope that it would get better.
Right.
But the dry years went on until the 40s.
Okay. What's your earliest childhood memory that you have?
Well, mine is a fun time with Grandpa John and Ellen, because when we were still in Valley City and Dad was at the Gamble Robinson then, do you
Right,
think?
it was a wholesale food company.
And they lived in our house up above. And we would go sliding down the bank and go ice skating. And Grandpa John would slide down the hill and he would be fishing there. And all the Hoggans would come in on Saturday and come and have coffee and cookies that Mom would make. And we would ice skate then.
Oh, neat.
Well, when in my case, my earliest remembrance is when I started to walk, and Grandpa was, or I should say, our father was a cream buyer in Hastings. He had a little addition to the Wrighton Hardware in Hastings, and so the local farmers would bring cream in. He would test it, pay him for the butterfat content, and then prepare it in these cream cans for the train. Put it on a cart, and when the train came through Litchfield from Castleton, they would throw this cream on the train, and it would go into Castleton and eventually to Fargo to be made into butter or other dairy products. So at that place in Hastings, I was way ahead of my time in learning to walk, because what I did is I took 2 pop bottles and I used them for balance so I didn't fall over. And, you know, from that point on, I just did all kinds of crazy things.
Oh, neat. I'd never heard that story. That's awesome.
I just made it up.
Oh,
Do you know if we have any famous relatives?
Well, isn't David Creviston considered our most famous? No, not really.
Okay.
on the Hoggan side.
You know, they all have done things that showed that they excelled in certain areas.
Right, that's an excellent
And
way of putting it.
so many of them, actually, I think I was maybe the first to have completed college.
Okay.
But they all were very good farmers, excellent farmers. Adolf took really poor land that the Hoggans had on that Rorvik homestead and produced some very fine crops. The other people, they never gave up. They kept on and all had successful lives and very nice families.
Oh, neat. Have either of you ever wondered or noticed any physical characteristics that our family has?
We're all good looking.
Oh, very good one. Very good one.
Very patient people.
Okay, so personality trait of being patient, that's very true.
And I think they were all people of faith.
Okay.
They all
Yes, that was
were
very
church
important to
joiners,
us.
and yes, and there's some, I think, reasons for that go back to Norway. In Norway, the families were really persecuted by the church because the clergy were really the police and the administrative people from the government. Government of Norway at the time our descendants were immigrating was under the rule of Danish king.
Okay.
And the Danish king, of course, was over Norway simply to take out all the money.
And then the last part is, what's the most valuable thing you've learned from your parents?
Well, I would say it is to not worry that God has a plan and we're on the road to complete that plan. And you have that faith that makes you feel that there is a higher power than yourself.
Nice. Mom, how
And
about
I
you?
think that we have been taught to not just worry about yourself, but worry about other people. And like both our parents were taking care of people in the Grafton State School. And
Yeah.
I have been a daycare provider. I went to 2 years of college and then got married, so started doing work in my house as a daycare licensed one. And I had done that for 40 years. Now
Right.
my children are into education, and then my other daughter takes care of special special people in Valley City that are in group homes.
Yeah.
And now her daughter, as a teenager, is working too in these same group homes. So I guess we've really been caring about other people in our lives.
Yeah.
I think that our parents taught us to care